Frontline.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so for those who don't know, Margs was in the play. Theatre Peckham, locals. I missed it. I felt like shit.
No, I don't feel like shit.
Gonna be there for the next one though.
For sure.
Talk to us about that though.
About Frontline.
How was it being in that process? And for those who don't know, you give a brief little summary.
Okay, so I joined Theatre Peckham Rep Company in January. And it's basically like, I joined it because 2 years of COVID, I felt like the jobs weren't coming a lot. And this was like consistent acting that worked towards a play, which you get paid for in the end. So it's like, okay, cool, acting job. Like I get to be around like-minded people. The same way as Go Hard, but this was just like another thing. And yeah, we done a showcase in July for industry. And then we done this play, Frontline, a few weeks ago. It was quite a long process, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I found myself not enjoying it a lot of times.
And I feel like we should just speak a little bit on just like a lot of times there's gonna be times where on IG it looks lit.
Yeah.
Everything always looks like, yeah, he's working, she's working with this person, that person, but not all the time is that. Not all the time behind the scenes, that rehearsal process. Remember when I told you went on tour? It looks nice and that, but trust me, there's moments where you're like, bro, I just really am not feeling the vibe of certain people, or maybe just the room. Or sometimes it's just not that.
Sometimes the room just isn't inspiring you anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like there were times where I was like, I don't really want to be in this space because it wasn't like aligning with the things that I wanted
you was chatting about that.
Do you know what I mean? So I felt, But then by the end of it, like we all done really well. And I was happy.
You happy you done it?
I was happy I'd done it in the end. There were times in the middle where I was like, I've never felt this like annoyed on a job before. Do you know what I mean?
But do you think that's just a process of like things you're meant to learn?
100%. I was definitely meant to do this. Like, there's nothing that's put in your path that you're not meant to do. Do you know what I mean?
That's
so
what
I
I
had to
think.
keep reminding myself that sometimes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because one thing that I always not hear, but like kind of gives me a weird feeling is like when people say like they're finally doing the thing that they always wanted to do, and then they'll kind of like realize, you know what, maybe it wasn't as fun as I thought it would be. I was like, it's like setting expectations. You get me? It's like one, if you know nothing is ever going to be the way it's like it seems, because think of it as like a promo or like an advert. Like they showed you this part to get you involved, but whatever life you choose, there's never a life where it's just smooth sailing without any problems. You get me? So, but what you have to ask yourself is like, alright, cool, is the end result is what I'm going to get out of it worth like me chilling around people that I don't really vibe with, or you know what, there's gonna be certain days where bro, I don't want to go through these lines, but you just do it anyways because you're thinking, you know what, at the end of it I'm gonna get that feeling of I'm so happy that I've done it and stuff like that.
And it's like these times as well, like you're blessed to, like I felt blessed the whole time to be acting basically 6 times a week on some points. But yeah, it's a constant reminder to be like, nah, I worked for this. I want to be here. This is my job now. Instead of like, I have to, I try to change my mindset to like, I get to.
Instead of
but yeah, it drained me a lot.
Yeah, that's a good mindset still.
Yeah. And it is a good mindset, but it's the consistency of doing it day in and day out. Like, no, not like I get to. Because imagine, again, the stuff behind the scenes, like, now we need to call you back for an extra rehearsal, or like an extended late night rehearsal. Or we got new lines for you to learn, or like we're gonna cut this scene.
There's so much added onto it that isn't in the contract. Do you know what I mean?
A lot of shit behind the scenes in there, and it's like sometimes I might even change the scene not too long before the show, and you're like, it's easy to say over time, like, yes, that was a test. Man was obviously meant to go through that. Like, how much should I really want it? But in the moment, of course, you can also be like, bruh, like
that's the challenge, though, isn't it? That's the challenge.
Sure.
It's not the challenge is not you just doing it. It's in those times. Can you stick with it and like continue to go through it? Because that's what the challenge is. You get me? When people say, "Oh, it's really like they'll say something about something sick they done, like, it's really challenging." You don't talk about, "Oh, it was fun." That's why it was challenging. It was it was like, you get me? It was a chore sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like with those Go Hub sessions, when we're doing them, it's always going to be a challenge, innit? But do you feel like now, lately, do you feel like you're saying that I'm actually having fun compared to, I just tried to, because I'll go in the circuit back to the original point, when we try to feel like we have to do this. instead of flipping the mindset of like, nah, I'm just gonna do this.
Yeah.
85%, do what I got to do, but I can enjoy this thing.
I love that 85%.
Yeah, I like it as well. Yeah.
That's proper. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that.
Do you feel like that you can do that? Well, you have been doing that lately, like in terms of like, like I'm not trying to do this to get it right, or because you are still gonna get notes. You are still gonna get stopped. Give you notes. Go back to the beginning. Do it again.
You know, I used to like. I had a dip this year where I used to be like, I'm gonna sit down. Like if it wasn't going well for me, if I didn't feel like I was in it, I'd be like, Jazz, I'm gonna sit down. And you'd be like, okay, you're kind of robbing yourself of an experience, and other people be like, okay, sit down, like you'll get
that's
there.
How normally you would say it.
Do you know what I mean? But now I'm like, no, I'm gonna push for this, like for myself. So I haven't done the cop out stuff since, and I genuinely love it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's the room that we're in, it's the people that we're with, it's the vibe that we're in, it's the work that we're doing. I just find it inspiring, man.
I feel like sometimes, sorry, I don't want to cut, bro.
No, it's cool. I was literally just gonna say and just add, like, that's a good thing. It's a good feeling. Like I talk to the boys all the time and tell them that I like being in environments where I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If you're uncomfortable, that's a good place to be. Like when you feel like, oh, this is a bit challenged, it's a bit hard, or I got to do something, or maybe make you feel like I don't even like that. Like these are the things that make you the animal that you're about to become. This is what makes you good at what you're going to be good at. So then at the end, that was the good thing. Like, okay, cool, maybe you achieved what you wanted to achieve, but it's the journey that was that. Someone's got a quote where they say that, like, it's not the actual, like, the end goal that's the good thing. It's the actual journey. It's the hardship, the tough times, the good times.
Lately a lot.
Those are the things that you got to value. So
and sometimes hard work is just hard work. Like, it's not even about the goal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're learning as you're pushing through it and challenging yourself.
Exactly.
I feel like a lot of times, especially when in those spaces, you will see it though, that there are going to be times where people will be like, you know, sometimes we do a scene and we know that they planned that out in their head. Like, we know you did the lines, we know you done all of it, you understand it, but what you're doing, you probably done it in your yard, and you're bringing it here. Like, you're not living in the moment.
Let yourself play, like.
Because at the end of the day, you want to get it right. Don't worry about getting it right. Just what's need to be said will be said.
For sure.
We'll go well.
I think even Lanks, he dropped a video when he's talking to some of the young kids that he's training. Talking about the whole concept of training. Like, listen, all the things you want to try in matches, this is the place to try it. The things where you're scared to try because you might flop or you think people are going to make fun of you. Like, this is why you create the space. This, and you saying this to like how you coach like 6-year-olds,
7, 8,
so it's football, like coaching football,
like ballers, like.
Yeah, like very high level footballers, but for their age. He's telling, like, listen, don't, like, this is why we're here today. You get me, like, all this, and it's about that. Like, for me, like, today we had a session where basically they want us to basically learn a new discovery technique because the whole company we're going through, like, we're changing like our whole not approach, but we're basically rejigging some of the ways we deliver some of our like deliverables, I'll just call it, innit? Minimal prep. You just said you've had that one session where he's run us through the whole concept. He's like, I want you to run the discovery using this concept. And I was like, bruv, I know he's gonna be dead. But it's one of them ones that's like, the only way to get better is to do it. So sometimes I'm excited to like, not excited, but it's like, you know what, I'm looking forward to failing or hearing that no, because that's just that's the quickest route to improvement. If someone says yes, then you think you're good enough. You think, I don't need to do, I'll move on to the next thing. But if someone says no, you're going to do it again, get better, do it again, get better, do it again, get better. I was doing it. In my head, I know this is dead, but you know what? Sometimes I'm just doing it to get out of the way so I can get to the feedback. Do you get? So I think, always like trying to like seek what's like what you guys was talking about, like just be in the moment and just do it. Like, it doesn't matter the result.
Doesn't matter the result. And it's like, I remember even Eva, her Friday sessions.
I love her.
Bro, I remember her just saying, because there are going to be times where, bro, there's times where you can go on a good week, cool. And maybe the next week, it might be a good week. Maybe that next week might be a bad week. Not even bad week or hard week. Next week again, you've done your prep, you learn your lines, all of that. Hard week again.
Yeah.
3-4 weeks later, it could be a hard week, and you might start questioning yourself. And then maybe the next time might be a good week. Some people is more consistent, whatever, that's it. But she was like, how doesn't matter. Like, it's boring. If it's always
the same, it's boring.
always the same, it's boring. It's like, it should be. It's not to you.
What did she say? She said on a monitor, when they monitor your heart, it goes like this.
That's a sick analogy.
And if it was like that, you'd be dead.
You'd be dead.
That's a sick
Flatline.
analogy.
That's
That's
dark.
so sick.
You'll be
You
flat.
never want a flatline. You never
Yeah.
want a flatline. That's dark still.
Yeah.
Man, she got gems.
Oh, she's amazing. She basically says to you, like, the first time we met her, she goes, everything that happens in your life is your fault. And you're not a victim.
100%.
And she just like holds you accountable from the
Yeah.
get go. Like she's sick.
On your shit.
Word.
Basically, yeah. She's wavy as well. She's
Yeah, I
very
recommend
wavy.
to everyone. Innit?
I know we have to be accountable time. So